Hi everyone, welcome to our 6-month review of the True L20.2 equipment. Obviously we've had this equipment for longer than 6 months now, but with me missing 3 months of hockey with hip surgery, I'm only now just getting a chance to give these a good test out on the ice to be able to provide a full review for you. So as you know, these were built in the NHL factory by True in Montreal, and we're privileged enough to be the first in the UK to get our hands on this equipment. So a huge thank you to True for facilitating that for us. So we're very, very grateful to be able to have these to be able to provide the content for you. So yeah, let's jump into the review. On my first review of these, when they first arrived, I did mention that they were incredibly stiff out of the box, which for the top half of the pad that is still the case. There's not a lot of movement through the internal brakes there, which I like. I like a really stiff leg pad, so that suits me perfectly. The boot itself is a little bit softer, which is a build sort of trait of the pad, which for me I don't particularly like, but I was expecting that with the specs that were available at the time. If I was going to order these leg pads again, I would order them with a steeper boot and a bit of a stiffer boot, which is now an option but wasn't when we ordered them. And I believe that True has actually added a lot more options now to the PX3 Catalyst pads that are available for 2023. So in terms of the build quality, absolutely excellent, as you'd expect from a Canadian-made NHL spec leg pad. There's not a mark on these. There's no wear spots at all, either on the toe or the top of the pad there, that you'd expect from 6 months of use. Absolutely nothing. So excellent build quality, excellent durability. Can't say enough good things about that side of it. There's sort of no wear. The leather strap is absolutely perfect. There's no Velcro wear, which sometimes you get. No issues whatsoever, which is really refreshing. And says a lot about obviously the build quality of the pads. My favourite part of the pad, the rebound control, the stiffness of the pad surface there, the materials that they've used. You can send these rebounds out for miles. Any leg pad that can send a rebound out towards the blue line is always a winner with me. I like to get sort of the puck away from the net as quickly as possible. And you can control that really easily with this leg pad. And the weight of that helps as well. A really light leg pad allows you to sort of angle your leg whichever way you want to send the puck in any direction that you want it to go in. So again, really, really plus on that I really enjoy. On the back with the strapping, the fast rotation system was a new thing for me. I've never sort of tried a Velcro system. I'm a bit old school. I like my leather straps and my leg pads. But I was pleasantly surprised. Not only does it mean you can like get the leg pads on a lot quicker with the Velcro, but they're extremely adjustable, and you can adjust it a lot more than you can leather straps. There's, I think, 3 different points of adjustment on each strap there, so you can really dial it into exactly what's comfortable for your leg. So really, really enjoyed that. One aspect that I think is a slight negative, in my opinion, is the lack of stability through the knee there. That became very, very soft very quickly. And compared to some of the other leg pads that I tested this year and last year, which have a lot more stability and a lot more stiffness in that knee block, I think that's something that True have missed out on this particular leg pad, which I'd maybe have liked to have seen. I do believe on the new PX3 Catalyst for 2023, I think True have fixed that, and they've got a lot more stiffness through the thigh and through the knee, which I'm really excited to see later this year when we get our hands on the 2023 True equipment. So another thing as well, I think these could be thinned out a bit. Again, in comparison to some of the other leg pads that I've been testing, this is quite thick, quite chunky, and I've noticed that for me that sort of interfered with the bottoms of the shorts a little bit and affected the butterfly seal. So again, I'd like to see that thinned out a little bit more, which I think True have addressed for this year as well. But in general, fantastic leg pads. Anyone that's lucky to get a set of these, you're in for an absolutely fantastic leg pad. Very nice, lightweight, exceptional build quality, and I think with a few sort of spec adjustments, which might be down to my personal preference, I think these could be an absolute 10 out of 10. They're not quite for me. There's a few things that need adjusting, which partly through specs and partly through the features of the new pads, I think that True are going to get absolutely spot on. So we'll put that down. We'll move on to the blocker. So again, there's not always that much to say about blocker, but the main things that I look for are the weight. They have to be extremely light. The balance when it's on your hand, it can't sort of flop around. It needs to be nice and stable on there. And a nice sort of stiff sidewall on there. So for me, True have got 2 out of 3 right on that. It is an excellent blocker. It's probably one of the best that I've ever used. I think if True would have stiffened this up a bit, like I mentioned in my first review of this, if they were to sort of stiffen up that sidewall to match some of the competitors on the market, it'd be an absolute 10 out of 10. It is very comfortable. You've got a good amount of sort of wrist mobility for playing the puck and for sort of rebound control. The palm is top notch, as you'd expect from a Canadian made product. There's absolutely no wear in that whatsoever. The only marks on there are just from the grip tape that I use on my stick. So yeah, absolutely no issues with that. I think if we just stiffen that up a little bit, it'd be absolutely perfect. But other than that, I've got nothing bad to say about that whatsoever. So finally, if we move on to the catcher, again, this is as close to a 10 out of 10 catcher as you'll ever get me sort of rating. It's the best glove I've ever used, and I'm not exaggerating whatsoever when I say that. Not only the build quality, the durability, all fantastic, as I've mentioned numerous times in this video already, but just the comfort, and it just feels right. It feels like your traditional Lefebvre designed 60 degree 590 catcher. Only thing that I struggled with on this was just the break-in time. Just took a little bit too long, but again, it's a very high quality product, so I don't mind going through that extra time to break it in, because what I have now is an absolutely fantastic catcher, and I think a lot of other manufacturers on the market should really take note of how True make their gloves, because this is an absolute 9.5 out of 10 for me. I think if it was a bit quicker to break in, 10 out of 10. I can't say anything bad about this glove whatsoever. And I'm not exaggerating at all when I say that. I genuinely do mean it. So yeah, that's my overall review. Obviously True comes with a bit of a price tag, given, you know, sort of where it's made and who it's made for in general. So it's not the cheapest by any means, but it's absolutely fantastic kit. I would highly recommend it. If anyone has any questions about the equipment or sort of specs or anything to do with that, please drop it in the comments or drop us a message. But thank you for watching, and we'll be doing more reviews over the summer as more of the equipment gets launched, and we'll also be doing some 6-month reviews on some other kit as well. But thanks for watching, and please tune in for our next video.